I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing. Hello.
Hello there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever it happens to be. Hope you're having a good one.
It is a beautiful, warm, sunny afternoon here.
It just barely, yes.
I know, just barely.
Definitely sunny.
But you know when you've been up since like 4:30.
Something like that. Yeah.
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 A little abnormal for a Saturday.
Definitely abnormal. But, you know.
It feels like it should be like 5 in the evening.
Yeah, I'm good
but
with that.
But it's very nice outside.
It
We'll
is.
enjoy that to some degree later. But we're doing this right now.
It is very nice outside.
I am a little extra tired. A little extra icky. Because we spent the last few days preparing and then actually moving into my office. So lots of details to deal with and stuff to make sure everything was all set, and then actually moving in the furniture. So the joke that we've had is it's been my adult office. A little overwhelming, a little exciting, a little exhausting, but that is my propensity to, I guess, be more tired. Sure. And I'm all bruised up. I mean, I literally have very large bruises from the very large desk that we were given.
Yeah, just be thankful you weren't on the bottom of the stairs on that one.
I know. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've held as much arm strength as I can for my circumstances, but there's no way.
Yeah, my right arm is very jello-y this morning. Like, we moved a couch out of our basement, and it was quite a while there. It was basically, I was holding it up the stairs on my right arm. And yeah.
I was having so many episodes. I was tired. I was tired as it was, and then by the time we're moving the couch out of the house, I was pretty exhausted. And then we had to get to the office and then move it all out. But anyway, it's exciting and overwhelming and all that stuff. But that's done. So now today it was we had a few real things we needed to do, like this, and rest, which I don't know what that really is supposed to look like. But
yeah.
How about not lifting furniture for a few days?
I
won't be lifting tomorrow. I will say that.
That's fair.
Thank you. Nope. Not doing that. So, yeah, it's an exciting thing. Now, this episode, you said, what number are we on?
18.
18. Okay.
18th episode.
So, 18, I had an idea, and I even just had a weird name that came to me, and you can be for or against. I'll let you.
Yeah, you can name it.
Our Insides Out.
Our Insides Out.
It sounds super weird.
It kind of does, yeah.
So it may or may not end up being the title. But
nope, too late. It's the title.
Last week, I had said that I had an idea because I had just gone to see Inside Out 2. And I said I would talk to you about going. And we did, as a matter of fact, go the next day. So I saw it twice in a couple of days. I don't want to get all clinical with it and all that. And there's many other analysis out there about it. It is very good. I mean, clearly they had gone to experts, to collaborate, to create. There was anyway, I've read different things about that. The fact that they had tried to have some actual professional background to what they were creating and trying to exhibit. I don't know all the details on that. But anyway.
Sure.
And without all the spoilers and the things, yes, I could see that. And I and not been an expert in the field forever, but I could recognize some of the techniques and things that you are supposed to actually help individuals utilize given their particular symptoms and issues. And it's not giving too much away. Anybody could Google the fact it's about different emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in different emotions, anxiety kind of being the lead.
Yeah.
There were some other ones there. Now, when I originally had this idea to watch this movie with you and then talk about this, I had a couple thoughts with it.
Sure.
Mainly because as I was watching it both times, I saw our youngest daughter. I chuckled a few times thinking of different experiences we had, particularly, forgive me, let's see, there's anxiety and envy and, oh my goodness.
It's embarrassed?
Embarrassed, thank you. And then I think, well, I'm not positive what the term is, but boredom.
Sort of.
Yeah. Ennui.
Ennui, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And of course.
But boredom.
Yeah.
I saw.
To me, that's more. That's a lack of emotion rather than an emotion in and of itself.
Sure. I mean, we could talk about the nuances of how they portrayed it versus what it is,
and they had
what it was supposed to be.
So it's like, yeah. Anyway.
But one of my original thought was we'd talk about it, right? Well,
sure.
and because I had in my mind that it reminded me of our youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And you agreed after you watched it, yep, there's definitely some tones there.
Sure.
Which will go there too. But then we've had a few other experiences this week that made us talk a little bit about our other daughter too. So,
sure.
Okay, to kind of bring this around with the movie, right? It's a child getting older, experiencing new emotions at a heightened level.
Yes. Well, specifically in the movie, she hit puberty, and her hormones.
Sorry about that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. As she's getting older, it's
yep.
and her hormones start going crazy, which results in her emotions being a little chaotic.
Now, as the girl dad,
as a girl dad, and
in a house with then 3 women.
Yes,
I'm sure you've had some feelings about that.
Grew up in a house of 3 women, and it's like yep.
Decent portrayal there of
very
your
familiar. Yeah, it's like okay, all right, yeah, because you get it's like hormones just kind of have a tendency to turn stuff up to 11.
Yeah.
And
I won't deny that.
And until you figure it out, it's like I don't know why I'm crying. It's like your hormones are amping everything up to 11.
You literally just asked me the other day if I was PMSing.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you were.
Because somebody said something really sweet to me in a text, and I started crying.
And you started crying. And I'm like,
are you PMSing?
Are you PMSing? Because your hormones, it's like that would not normally bring across that kind of that reaction. So,
but then you read the text and you understood.
Yeah, and even then, I'm still like, okay, that's really sweet. Why are you crying? Just saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just it is what it is. It's like that's the hormone cycles that we all go through. Just they affect mood.
You've got your things going on right now.
Oh, sure.
And we've been perpetually joking about testosterone's been good to you, but you're like a teenage boy sometimes. It's comical.
Yeah, I have enough emotional maturity in order to keep some of that reined in. Because for the most part, like on a daily basis, I just want to smack people. It's like, why are you, you know what? You're this dumb because you weren't hit enough. We need to fix that.
Stop. You're going in a whole nother direction.
It's like, but I am very well aware that it's just, my emotional reactions are amped up a little bit, and I need to regulate that.
But, okay, so in terms of the movie, that's an adult with an adult mind and adult perception. took time to get there.
Sure.
In terms of the movie,
Well, yeah,
how did you think that they presented those emotions? I mean, it's supposed to be a little extreme and comical
Sure.
and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Well,
but
of course.
what did you think of the overall?
And the personifications, I think they did a better job in the first movie of each feeling only embodying what they were.
I'll agree.
In this one,
they're interacting.
Well, not
they're
even
coexisting.
Well, yeah, but
that was
in the first one, Joy was just Joy, and when she wasn't Joy, she didn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah.
And in this one, Joy is sad, and Joy is angry, and Joy is jealous, and there's all of these other emotions that she's feeling that it's like, no, she's Joy. The whole point of this is she's the embodiment of joy. That's the only thing that she's capable of. Now, the person that she's inhabiting, on the other hand, is becoming more complex. And I was like,
They took the character scheme off.
Yeah, they grew the characters that are supposed to be the embodiment of, the personification of an emotional state. And it's like, okay, you kind of diluted the core concept a little. Not necessarily, I'm not saying it's ruining anything. It's like, if you really want to run with the concept of the embodiment of emotional states, then you can't have them change, because then they're not the embodiment of that emotional state.
Fair. That's fair.
Now, in the end of the first movie, she learned to embrace the other emotions because they played off of each other and made everybody else
Which did
better.
carry into this one.
Which did carry into this one, but the fact that they didn't just embrace each other, they started to become each other, which it's like that kind of, it took away from the story a little bit. I mean, it took away from the symbolism a little.
Okay, fair enough.
To me, but
and I know that you can take
that's
things
a
in a different
movie
tone.
That's a movie criticism, not
Yeah, that's okay. But I got you. It
was well done. I'm not going to give it too much crap over that.
Well, I could see our youngest, right?
Sure.
And what we went through in the relatively neurotypical.
Yes.
But yet she has anxiety.
Sure.
She has general anxiety.
Yes.
I know, and we know what we've battled there and gone through and tried to help her reframe and learn and cope and all that stuff. We both have our issues with anxiety, our own
things,
flavors.
Sure.
Fueled by what they are.
Sure.
I've long said I think many of mine are more hormonally driven, and that's a whole other episode.
Well, and
because that's real, and I didn't know that was real.
Oh yeah.
Until well into my adulthood.
Really.
Really.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. All
that
right.
was not a conversation I had with a doctor until after I had the girls.
I never had a conversation with a doctor about any of that, and I knew that for a long time. But I can appreciate that I'm more of an outside observer to a lot of that. Yeah.
But with the nuances of it, in this especially, there's the awkwardness of being a teenager.
Oh yeah.
And going through those phases.
Yes, the person that you were,
and overgeneralizing the label of anxiety versus just going through phases in an age-appropriate fashion.
Sure.
And then as an adult, to have had some of the odd flare-ups, I guess you'd say, for lack of a better term, that I had that were like situational, and I could always time them around PMS. Like that's not anxiety.
Well,
not necessarily.
Well,
and again, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. Well, and this conversation I've had with a lot of people over the years, specifically our daughters, that you got to be very careful with your emotions. They lie to you.
There's also that.
And then hormones kicking things up to 11. So you have this thing that's, for context, when I say emotions lie to you, for context. Context to the listeners that doesn't know me and we haven't had this conversation. Emotions are very strange, fickle, easily manipulated. Every part of the entertainment industry is designed to trick your emotions into feeling things that don't exist.
They call it entertainment.
It's entertainment. And it is. Romance novels get your heart all pitter-pattering for that character, or movies, songs
that special channel
songs that get you excited,
that shows all those Christmas movies,
energetic, or see stories of somebody mistreating somebody else and you get angry, or somebody's dog dies and in the movie and you're crying. It's like you're feeling all of those emotions. You are legitimately feeling all of those emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And every single one of them is based off of a lie. It's a story that's being told to you. Nobody's actually hurt. Nobody's actually dead. That guy that's the big heartthrob, he's playing a character. He's probably actually a jerk.
But it tends to trigger things and incite emotions.
Exactly. Their whole purpose is, the entire industry is designed to manipulate you into feeling things, which your feelings are legitimate, but the cause of them are a lie. And life is like that. People get angry about situations before they actually know what's going on. And if they knew the whole story from the get-go, they wouldn't be angry. They might be sympathetic to the situation instead of angry about the situation.
Well, then you wouldn't have the journey.
You'd have a better journey with less stress.
So literal.
Yes. But so when I say that emotions lie to you, I'm not saying that they're not valid. I'm not saying that they're not important.
But if you don't check them, they can lead to destruction.
Oh, every time they will take you down. If you actually,
I still have those days and moments.
If you actually let your emotions
We all do.
dictate your behavior, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. You're going to end up in a very bad place. I've said it. It's like, I think I said it in my list. It's like, use your emotions, but let your head drive. It's like, emotions are like a bad GPS. They might get you in the general vicinity, but you can't take them literally. You've got to take the wheel and drive yourself. But you have to be aware of some of that. And then when you have those feelings that are coming out of, I'm not sure where, you might have that just underlying little bit of anxiety going on in the background, and then the hormones kick in, turn it up to 11. It's like, okay, now I'm really freaked out about stuff, and I don't have anything to be freaked out about. There's a lot of things in life to be freaked out about, but it's usually
catastrophization.
You're just like, everything's terrible. I just feel like everything's terrible. It's like, and there is the fundamental, you feel. Now, for a second, think, is it actually as bad as it feels like?
Okay, that's what I do help walk people through, only not quite so blunt like that.
But that's why I'd be a lousy therapist, because all of my clients would say, hey, I'm so much better now. Bye.
Okay.
Stop it.
Yes.
Sorry. Anyway, so that was all for context to support that. Like, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm just being a jerk about it. It's like, I don't feel anything. I'm not Spock. Okay. I'm just saying, it's like, you need to, you need to be cognizant that your feelings, though you're actually feeling them, they could be lying to you, or the situation, the thing that's inspiring those feelings could be completely invalid. The feelings are real. The feeling itself is valid, but the cause of the feeling could be absolute crap. And you don't know. That's why you can't let them drive. Or, I'm a firm believer in instinct and intuition.
It's a God-given alarm system.
But not making it all of your decisions based off of that. Using it as a tool. It's like, like the bad GPS. It's like, okay, this is trying to tell me something. What is it? And understand, why is it pointing? It's like, what am I instinctively seeing that I'm not cognitively seeing? Like, your instincts are, your feelings are there to tell you something. Your feelings are there to inform your reality so that you can see things in a way that you wouldn't otherwise, or in a way that you're not. It's like your intuition. You'll get a feeling. You can't necessarily pinpoint on specifics, but it's like, okay, I'm getting a bad vibe here.
And what I think the movie did a good job of portraying, and like an hour 45 or whatever it was, is a simple storyline with a young lady that was figuring out she had new emotions she wasn't necessarily familiar with, and heightened complexity, and the things that do happen with a coming of age, right?
Yeah.
And not just puberty, but like circumstances in life, which
Yeah.
again, the movie does, I think, a decent
Yes.
job in a
They do.
very,
They,
brief, simple fashion of laying out that would be very practical for a middle schooler to get, a high schooler to get.
Well, and I've got my thoughts on a lot of that, but at least the movie's portrayal, I should say, I've got a lot of thoughts on that. It's like,
Sure,
no,
which is not necessarily the focus of this.
no, but it is part of it. But I mean, it was kind of the inspiration on a lot of that. It's like, and we actually kind of got into this discussion before. Recently, actually. My take on my viewpoint, my take on anxiety, specifically generalized anxiety. You're just it's the physiological response of anxiety is the same as fight or flight. Elevated heart rate, elevated stress hormones, quickened breathing, your senses, your senses become more acute. It's from my observations and my experience, personal experience, it's fear without a purpose in a lot of ways. It's like anybody that's phobic in some fashion, claustrophobic and agoraphobic, or acrophobic are the two very common ones. And small rooms or elevated, small spaces or elevated things, like you feel this. Like I can tell you, my heart. I'm acrophobic. Not truly acrophobic because it's limiting but not debilitating. I have acrophobic tendencies, to be more clinically accurate.
You pick and choose.
No,
to a degree, you have the feeling, but you will pick and choose what you'll push.
Oh no, I will push the ever-loving crap out of it if I need to. Mm-hmm. But when I'm done, I'm done. I've spent 8 hours in a lift truck 40 feet up, and I would not get out of that bucket. I didn't take a lunch. I did not get out of that bucket, and I told him, if I get out of this bucket, I'm not getting back in it. I'm going to be done for the day, so we're just going to finish this. My buddy used to think it was funny as crap. He'd have me do the rigging when we were cutting trees. It's like, yeah, I will go 40 feet up in a tree, tie that sucker off, and when I get out of that tree, I am done for the day. You are done. I'm done working. It's like I have spent every bit of energy that I've got. I can do it. I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy doing it. And the entire time, I feel like my heart's going to explode and I can't breathe.
I've seen some new things,
like,
but you've gone parasailing.
I have.
You've done things.
I have done things, and I love roller coasters, except for the first hill.
You want to go ziplining? We're gonna go. We're gonna take a friend ziplining for her birthday.
Again, I will go because
I won't.
Because
for other reasons.
Rationally, I know everything's going to be okay. I've taken the proper precautions. I understand rationally. I'm not going to let that fear win, but I've had some just general anxiety, and it was the exact same feeling without a purpose. It didn't have a focus. It's like, I am seriously freaked out right now, and for no reason. I'm just here, amped up to 11. And it was the exact same fear, physiologically speaking, without a point. So I've always kind of considered anxiety kind of in the same boat as worry. It's like worry is typically fear about the possibilities that could happen, and anxiety kind of ties into that, like the way it was portrayed in the movie.
Yeah,
the character was thinking of all of the ways that things could go wrong in
The
like
anxiety character.
Yeah, the anxiety character.
And the way they portrayed it was comical.
Oh, it was. And it's like quite literally turned all of the imaginative resources in the brain towards coming up with the most bizarre way things could go wrong.
Which happens.
Which does happen.
I've spoken with enough
oh, yeah.
teenage
and
clients to tell you that is exactly how they think.
It's exactly. And 99.9% of the things that we worry about never actually happen.
And it was interesting with our daughter, it wasn't ever that she expressed. If she had them, I'm sure she had them, but she didn't express those specific, catastrophized thoughts in her brain. It's just a paralyzed doing.
Yes. And
I'm not familiar with it, so I can't handle doing it.
Yeah. Well, and part of that's kind of goes in with the same kind of mentalities that ADHD and ADD propagate.
Yes.
It's like there's an aversion to things that we don't know we can do.
Routine.
Routine, and there's that fear of failure. And again, it's a fear of
failure.
It's like,
control.
I don't know if I can do this, so I'm going to avoid it at all costs. When she and I have talked about, it's like she's been freaked out about stuff. It's like, okay, you need to stop for a second. Okay, now breathe and focus. What is it that you're freaking out about? Try and understand, what is it you're freaking out about? It's like, well, I don't know about this. Okay, that's fair.
She's gotten better about communicating.
Sometimes you had to push, so she's our prickly one. You got to get between the needles and get some rib, just like, boop. Okay, now.
But holy cow, that Ennui character really, woof. I've literally seen some of those moments out of her. It's whoa. It was entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
But man, did they nail some of the sarcastic, obnoxious, like.
Yes.
That was entertaining.
Most definitely.
So anyway.
But
you know what? The reason I bring this up in the way that I did was she started her job, her first job.
Woohoo.
Her first paying employee job, W-2 job. And we're very proud of her. It was a very big deal, especially out of the gate, for there to be a misunderstanding that she was not full-time. She's supposed to be part-time.
Yep.
So to write out the schedule with full-time hours, 8 hours a day, 5 days in a row, she said she'd write it out, but she's...
Well, and I'm like, you need to communicate that with you.
She's tired.
Yeah.
She's tired. She's got 2 more days to go.
Yep. You need to talk to your boss and find out what's going on, because that's not what you were told. Now, they may need the full-time person, and if you can do it, they'll take it. But if you're not there.
But with all the anxiety that she was having, she's done well. I know
she has, and it's
a lot.
I've told, I've tried to, I've told the girls, and I've tried to model to the girls, there's nothing wrong with feeling afraid. There's nothing wrong with, these feelings themselves are fine. They're trying to tell you something. When you're afraid of something, fear is your emotions saying that you could get hurt. There's potential harm here, whether that's real, deer crossing the road, bear in the backyard, the scary neighborhood, whatever it happens to be. Your emotions are telling you to be afraid. And that's when your mind has to go, okay, I'm afraid. Why am I afraid? And figure that out. It's like, you're freaked out. Why are you freaked out? It's like, because you've never done this before. It's brand spanking new. That is perfectly fine. But are you actually, worst case scenario, what's going to happen? You don't get the job. You already don't have the job. So what's the most you're going to lose? The gas it took to get there? You interrupted your anime time to have an interview? That's the most you're out?
She doesn't have that much anime time.
No, but I mean, I'm just...
I got you. She's done well.
Yeah, she has.
She is doing well. I know it's only been a few days, but we're very proud of her. And she continues to branch out, right? And do
Yes.
things that are uncomfortable.
Yes.
And in an environment that's completely different.
Well, and feel it, listen to it, proceed with caution. That's like,
I feel it.
yes. Yes, you are. And I tried to fix it.
You charge everything you've just said was you trying to fix that.
Well, it was more, not even necessarily, in this case, there's nothing to fix. You can't, and I don't think you'd really want to fix people feeling things.
I mean, that's what we do, though. We
Well,
try to
no.
shut it off.
Typically, but the real fix, I guess, is hearing it, feeling it, and then understanding it.
And when you watch the movie, you'll understand how
then-
that interlocks with
Yes.
what we're talking about.
And then proceed intelligently. Now, let's be honest, there's certain things you don't need to, I mean, romance isn't an intelligence thing. I mean, don't be stupid. But at the same time, it's like you kind of gotta, you feel the flow and you kind of roll with it in the proper time, at the proper context. There are certain times to let your feelings lead, but most of the time that isn't the case. And I think they did an interesting job of, it's like, because with the movie, because it was the feelings kind of dictate the focus, but it doesn't dictate her actions. It's like they made her feel a certain way, and then she acted.
Mm-hmm.
Colored by that feeling, but as a character, she still had to act. And then she grew and realized, like, okay, I made some poor choices. And she learned, and she moved on, which is, I think what most of us hope for with our kids.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, you're going to make mistakes. I think that was, it's another big anxiety-strewn thing. But especially if people brought up in a home where making mistakes is not allowed. Like, you're going to, every time you do anything, you're going to be freaked out, because the potential, there's potential harm. Whether, not necessarily actual harm, but emotional hurts, they count. So, I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to instill in them, is like, you can make mistakes. We want you to make mistakes.
I think we have.
Goof up. Okay, you goofed. Did you learn from it? All right. Okay, well, you goofed. That was silly. We're kind of disappointed. That was a poor choice. Now what do we got to do to fix it? Guess what? You're going to help fix it.
But it's also not throwing them in the deep end and expecting them to just fix it, but actually have a conversation about how to fix it.
And even when you make, whenever
at least suggestions.
Yeah, well, and when they make mistakes, it's not like, okay, you goofed up, now go fix it. It's like, no, okay, let's go figure out what we got to do together. You're fine. You goofed. Oops. Okay. Did you learn? Okay. Now let's go deal with it. It's like, you're not doing it alone. You got backup. And I think that's important too. It's like, your mistakes aren't, it's like there's nothing here. There's no deal breaker when it comes to being your parent. Still got your back. Let's figure this out. And even that, and still it rears its annoying little head sometimes.
Yes.
Anxiety and whatnot. Like, it's like you think you're gonna
hear it.
You think you're gonna goof up bad enough to where I'm not gonna want to be your dad anymore? Seriously? That's not gonna happen.
That's a conversation you continue having.
It is, and it's one I'm going to continue having
as cognition changes.
Yes. Sure.
We talked about this, that we haven't been taking our hope to be someday sponsor breaks.
Yeah, our faux commercial breaks.
So we should probably take a break for that, and then you can choose one, because I doubt you know which one you want to toss in there.
No, I'll be surprised.
Maybe he'll even create a new one. Who knows?
Nah.
Okay.
Too much work.
Here at Feel It and Fix It, there are many products and services we use in our daily lives. They may not be a sponsor yet, but we can always dream. One of those is Stash Tea. If you don't like it, that's fine, but I will be praying for your soul.
And we're back. Hope that was worth it.
I have a response to what you said. Work is a lot, isn't it? Work is exhausting. Work is subjective.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was something else I wanted to tie in, right?
Okay.
Because along with the job and the discussion, then again, this all ties in. You see the movie, you get what I'm saying. And even what you've literally just been talking about, how some of those things never change. Some of those thought processes never change. No matter how old you are, and you've talked a little bit about your own struggles. There was something else that had come up that I knew you were having some feels with our oldest potentially going on a date.
Yep.
And
yeah.
That was
very torn, yeah.
Interesting thing to maneuver.
Yes.
To help her even understand.
Well, the fact that she didn't comprehend that it was a date.
And we're not being facetious there.
No,
this is literally what it's like to have an autistic daughter who, almost 21 or not,
sure,
still doesn't always process things.
Well, sometimes it's just, that's not where your head is, so that's not where your head goes. But and I gotta say, I've never heard of this one, and I'm like, proud. Anyway, she was hanging out with her young adult group that she meets up with, and this young man asked if she would like to go to a local range and go shooting.
I immediately was like, is this a joke? Is this like a joke?
Like,
what?
What? Okay, well, first of all,
true crime. What? What are we talking about here?
If you know our background, firearms are a component.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And admittedly, it's been over a decade since I had a range day, which...
Oh, no.
It's kind of...
Hold on. No, it has not. Okay. Are you talking like an official range, or are you talking like my parents' old backyard?
Gun shooting. It's been over a decade.
No.
Yes.
No. My father has only been gone 8 years. Not quite. Hold on.
Yeah.
November of 2016.
I haven't had a range day since we moved.
Again, I don't know your definition of a range, because you shot guns with our daughters the last summer that he was in the house before we moved him. So that would have been the summer of 2015.
They shot. I did not.
Come on.
I did not.
How are you around guns and you didn't shoot anything?
I was helping them fire theirs.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Not going to waste more time.
I have the photo. The last time I actually did any shooting of any real amount was when we completely peppered that deer target with nail polish.
Well, that's your fault.
That is the last time I went shooting. Those pictures are on my phone. It's
100% your fault.
Almost 12 years ago.
And there's no excuse for that.
Yeah. Other than I've been working and I've been busy, and we no longer have a range.
Cripe's sake. I've been working and busy for over 10 years. Anyway.
Yeah.
But let's just stop right there.
I've been working 50-hour weeks for over a decade.
Let's just stop there. Stop. Go back to this young man that you're proud of.
Anyway.
Go back to this young man that you're proud of.
Anyway.
And
I was like, that was...
Know him.
Like,
with the range that's like 2 miles from our house.
Yes. Yep. You got to pay. It's an indoor range, which, that's cool. That's cool. Not a problem. And
so it wasn't a joke.
Wasn't a joke. But she was like, wait, and I'm like, so he asked you on a date? No. It's like, is it just going to be you and him at the range? Well, yeah. Honey, that's a date. It's not a group to get together.
Said it was hanging out.
It's hanging out.
Sweetie,
that's a date. Now, it might not be, the traditional...
Clearly not.
Dinner and a movie, kind of just the two of us.
Clearly not.
Which, in a lot of ways, I'm not necessarily a proponent of in and of itself. And there are reasons for that. Because, it's like, analytically speaking, the standard methodology for dating is practicing breaking up. It's a lot of practice of breaking up. It's
okay,
not,
you're veering. Come back.
No, I'm just saying. So this is a very interesting way of doing it. It's like, let's go spend some time together in a non-traditional kind of way, just as a comfortable, non-committal kind of thing. It's like, that's cool. It's still a date. And I've had this conversation many times. I am very conflicted when it comes to my daughters, because they're my daughters, they're my girls, and there's a part of me that they will always be my tiny little squishy munchkins.
As it should be.
Yeah, as it should be. I mean, in the same way that there's a part of my brain that's still 14. You know, it's...
Yep.
But as an actual, you know, I'm a dad, you know, I'm a father of 2 wonderful young ladies, and I legitimately want them to experience all the great things that life has to offer. And finding that person that becomes your life partner, your helpmate, you know, that other side of the coin that helps, you know, that pairs up with you to get through the fight of life. I want that for them. And at the same time, I don't want boys to get near them.
Icky.
It's very conflicted.
Boys are
but there's
icky.
no chance of me being a grandpa if that doesn't happen. And I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to
There's
that
that.
phase of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry for that phase of my life. But I am looking forward to it.
Because I'm going to be that grandma. That grandmama. Sugar mop. Go with the cupboard of chocolate.
I'm going to channel your inner mom. Huh?
I'm totally going to do that.
Thanks, great. Anyway, but so yeah, this is an interesting one.
Your reaction was interesting, and
I
your way
it
of
was
trying to explain to her. So I
funny.
tried first, and I wasn't getting anywhere to help her understand. She just kept saying, "No, we're just hanging out." And then we would ask her questions, and well, that's a date. And then I said, "Babe, you got to help me out here. You gotta help me here, because she's not listening to me."
it just wasn't coming across. It's not that she wasn't listening; it was that it wasn't clicking. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, you know what?
I don't think you wanted it to click for you either, though,
Yeah.
because I saw your reaction.
Well, it was like, I'm very conflicted. It's like, that's amazing. Okay, that's awesome. Let's go to the range and go shooting.
Is this legit?
That is kind of awesome. I'm just saying. That's brilliant.
This is some weird hazing thing. I'm going to be very upset.
But
I think it was legit.
well, yes, I think
It
was
turned
legit.
out to not occur
Yes,
because of something that he didn't quite understand with something else, and that's okay.
Yeah, there was some
Timing things,
yeah,
some
which-
time with his family thing. That's fine.
Fine, which
That's okay. It has not occurred this week. It will not occur this weekend as he had proposed.
No.
Doesn't mean it won't.
No.
And her reaction was also nice. So with all of her
It was.
anxiety and her things, which is probably why she was trying to compartmentalize it as not a date.
Sure.
Well,
and
she
you
will
know-
be 21 in a month.
Yes.
That's also hard to wrap the head
That is
around.
very well. Again, I just turned 50. It's not that hard to wrap my head around that.
Oh, that time
it's-
has passed the way that it has?
Yeah.
Yes. It is hard sometimes for me.
Sometimes, I have my moments. Well, but
When we talk specifically about hoping that we've done the best we could and that they've gained and earned and it was positive and not all the awful, horrible negative, because there's sure been way too much of that.
oh sure. Well, and
There's only so much spin you're going to put on some of that.
well, no, yeah. I mean, there's well, with the permission for them to goof up. I've also, it's like, I'm not perfect. I goof up. I mess up a lot. I don't do it's like, I'm not perfect. I do my best. And it's like, I give you grace for your errors. Please give me grace for mine. I'm trying. I think I did okay. Could I have done better? Probably. We'll see, but I happen to think that we have 2 lovely young ladies that they're both working. They're not into drugs or alcohol.
Or promiscuity.
Or promiscuity, or
The one didn't even realize she was being asked on a date.
very innocent. I'm just hoping not too
Innocent? Yes.
Well,
We've had those conversations. We hope she's not going to be
Not-
prey for somebody.
Yeah,
We have had those concerns and conversations.
Always. There's a part of me that's always going to be concerned for my little girls.
She's better than she used to be.
Yes, she's not,
And a little bit better all the time with a
thing is,
little more
she's not
life experience.
She's not ignorant.
No.
She has been, but she's been told. But there's
You got to experience things.
There's a lot of things she hasn't experienced. But also on the upside, or a different way of looking at it, though. I mean, like hanging out, spending time together as individuals to see how you mesh as people, to see if you're just going to be friends or if maybe there's something else there. Which we had. She has another friend that she spends some time with on occasion that could have gone somewhere romantically, I guess. And at the time he wasn't there for reasons, and then she kind of she moved beyond it. It was like, yeah, you know what? I thought I was and interested, and I'm not. But I like hanging out with him. He's a good friend. So when he came around, it was like, nope, sorry, that door closed. I was like, that's how you learn. It's like you open yourself up to the possibility and see what happens, and then, nope, close that door. Like, okay, nothing wrong with that. That's a healthy thing to do. And like I said, they're still friends. They still get together and hang out, which is cool. They don't do it alone, which is also very cool. It's never a good idea to put yourself in those situations. But I'm digressing a little.
I'm letting you go a little bit because you gotta work through these things. You get some things trapped in your brain because I know you've been holding on to that for a few days. That's a next level experience.
It is. That's a different place. See, there's a part of me.
You're dealing with your anxiety as well.
See, I can't say I'm necessarily anxious. I can't say I'm not worried. Don't have fear. In this situation, I'm just. Anybody that comes into my daughter's life in that regard, their job is to replace me.
Oh, you want to go deep? Okay, let's do that.
I
was trying to keep this light, man.
Well, no, I mean, as a father of a young lady,
it's going to get all sappy.
My job is guidance, provision, and protection. That is my foundational requirement as a father. I need to make sure they're fed. I need to make sure that they're brought up and educated in a healthy way so that they can live their life as an adult. And it's my job to keep them safe. That's my job as a dad. That's a dad job. That is the definition of what a father's responsibilities are. That expresses itself in a billion different ways depending on the person, depending on the dad and the child. The whole point of a husband is to supplant the father. That's their job. When it was your dad's job to provide and protect and guide. We can discuss how well he did any of that.
We'd be sitting here for a while.
That's a different discussion. That's an entirely other episode.
It sure is.
But that was foundationally what the actual job requirement is. As your husband, it is my job to provide, protect, and advise. I guess guidance is it's different because it's equals. Like I advise you as in the same way that you advise me. But it's still my job to make sure that you're protected and taken care of.
Yes.
That's a
And
husband's...
we've discussed several times, and several more, what modeling can do for a child.
That is a husband's responsibility. The ultimate goal is for her to find someone worthy of stepping into that position.
Yes. And that is on God's timetable.
And when that happens, I lose my job.
Wow.
So there's a part of me that is not looking forward to that. And at the same time, there's a part of me that's really looking forward to that. And it's very conflicting.
I appreciate your vulnerability.
Because,
your candidness on this, honey.
Again, I want her to have all of those experiences. All of
course.
them. I don't want details.
Different than me.
I want no details.
No.
I want no details whatsoever. I don't want to be a witness at all. But at the same time,
not right away.
I want her to experience, I want them both to experience all of those wonderful little things. And in all honesty, I want them to experience all the parts that suck too. You don't get stronger. You don't get better when everything's easy.
They've had a lot of not easy.
This is true, but I'm talking about...
I'd really rather they not be in some kind of awful, horrible relationship.
No, that's not what I mean.
And then find somebody else down the road.
That's not what I mean. Life has a way of throwing crap at you. I don't care whose life you've got. Everybody's got something going on. I want the best for them, but at the same time, the struggling, one of the fundamental concepts of marriage in and of itself is to have somebody standing beside you in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're fighting, it's you and your spouse against the world. That's kind of the point. And you get stronger together by fighting together against those things in the world. That relationship doesn't grow any other way. That kind of interdependence doesn't happen any other way. And I want them to have that. That is a wonderful place to be. It's always a struggle to get there. Because it takes a struggle to get there.
Time.
There's no other way to get to that point where you have that kind of relationship other than through the fight. Now, for some people, that fight is different than other people. Sometimes it's health stuff. Sometimes it's financial stuff. Sometimes it's just, familial or whatever. Everybody's fight looks different. But still, there's that idea of you get stronger together by fighting together against something and surviving. Life is a gauntlet. Like if you go through it by yourself, it's a whole heck of a lot harder than when you got somebody that's got your back. And if you got each other's back, you develop that relationship that doesn't, you can't replace that. And I want them to have that. I'm not looking forward to them having
just not, right now.
As much as I want them to have it, there's a part of me that doesn't want them to have it.
Actually, we don't want them to have it instantaneously, like right now anyway. But yes.
No, finding that person that has the potential of being that battle buddy usually takes a little while.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it should.
There are exceptions. We've known a number of exceptions where, met and married 6 months later. It's like, and they, till death do they part. It's just.
I can think of a couple.
Yeah, and it was, they had their days, they had their months, they had their years.
We all do.
Yes, but they're like, no, we're getting through this together. and they got stronger, and they got better, and they, you know, anyway, that's completely off topic of
Again,
the topic.
you clearly needed to let some things out there. So, okay.
Well, you let me go on. You brought up the girls, and I always kind of go down that path.
They were the point. They were the
They are our example for.
Well, when we watched the movie,
Yes.
right? Told you I thought of the youngest. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then.
Oldest too. She's got her own things, but
Oh, sure. Specifically, it was the ennui. I was like, oh my goodness. But, the events that we ironically had just in the last week kind of played in there, kind of tied in there. So I thought I'd give you the opportunity to share that, right? And you did. And we'll talk many more times again about how modeling does matter. And even the concept of dating. Maybe we'll talk more about that one too. Because, you just made me realize we didn't actually ask her what her definition is. There's what we've tried to talk to her about, but,
sure,
we don't necessarily know the education, so to speak, that she's received at this young adult group. It is church-based. It's a church-based group.
Well, the fact that they were just the lessons they were doing were about courtship, which.
So maybe it's just a further conversation that we could have.
Oh yeah.
And again, just higher functioning. So it's just a sometimes things don't click quick. Sometimes they don't click at all.
Yes. But
there is at least understanding.
Yeah.
That she. Yeah. It's part of our concerns and things that we talk about, our own anxieties about raising kids. That's hard enough, but then having one that does have some neurocognitive challenges, and you're like, okay, was it a joke? Was when he was serious? Does he have some things like what?
Almost
it's just,
guaranteed.
It's hard to, and I will only say that because she does tend to gravitate.
She has a type. She's a magnet. She does kind of attract certain types of people.
And we've long said, they can have their own challenges. Everybody does, but can they hold a job and
yes, well, and
care about you and be in a relationship and faithful and
and there's nothing wrong with
love God.
Yes,
how about that? Above all, obey God.
It's one of the relationship wise, there needs to be some core foundational things that you agree upon. Otherwise, it's like, those foundational things, if they're not in sync with each other, foundationally, you're going to fall apart. So, that matters.
But I've known individuals that didn't get married until they were in their 30s because they did wait, because they did want the best.
Sure.
And I know that's also a hard thing to process, but
yeah, I would personally, I don't think I'd necessarily counsel anyone to wait that long necessarily.
I don't think
in and of itself.
I don't think it was a choice. I think it was just how life rolled out. They'd have relationships that didn't work out, or
well, see, a lot of relationships that don't work out were relationships that they were working too hard to make work that shouldn't have bothered.
I won't speak into that one way or the other. I know the circumstances for one of them in particular.
There's different ones.
And it wasn't their choice. I mean, when you're in a relationship and then you're left, and then sometimes you just take time to heal. You don't just try to jump back into it.
Sure.
But anyway, I'm not going to speak into the specifics on that one. I get what you're saying, but regardless, I just thought that those were some things that were good to bring up because it's been an interesting week. It's been an eventful week.
Yes.
And then another topic that came to mind also had to do with the girls, but it's not something that we'll get into. I wanted to stay on the Inside Out 2 track because that's what I had said. And then we can talk about whether or not we'll proceed with the other one and how. We'll be a little bit more prepared on that one.
Nah.
But I think,
I don't know. Again, being prepared, they're less interesting.
well, fair enough. Because I didn't warn you at all today what I was going to throw at you.
Not really.
But
That's okay.
I believe we summarized well for what we were trying to do in an hour-ish. So
Sure.
I think it's a cute movie. I recommend it.
It was.
I know there's a lot of thoughts and feelings about Disney. I'm not saying I don't
Sure.
have some of my own, but I'm going to tell you that this one, I didn't see the propaganda. I didn't see the agenda.
No.
I mean,
No,
yes,
not
there was a
really.
little bit of the there's some terms that get thrown around now. I would say like the DEI type, but like it's not even that specific now. I mean, it's just, especially you live in our city, there's a ton of different ethnicities, so you don't really think about it.
No,
you don't think about seeing non-Caucasian people everywhere you look.
No.
Maybe in some places where you live that isn't the case.
Well,
of course,
let's be honest.
We were born and raised in that area.
We lived in some very monochromatic areas.
Yeah, with gun ranges in the backyard. So,
Well, yeah, that too.
yes, like that's.
Those are
I'm just
mutually
saying
exclusive. Just saying.
I'm just saying, for a Disney movie, I didn't see that.
No,
and if you saw the
surprisingly.
first one, it very much was similar to that.
Yes.
In terms of not promoting a ton of agenda and all the things that tend to be in movies now, especially Disney.
No, it was
Disney, Pixar.
It was
any
pretty
of them.
benign in that regard. It was.
I think so.
It was an entertaining movie. It was within its premise. It was. I have to admit the. I don't necessarily think I would call nostalgia an emotion. However,
that was
freaking funny.
That was funny.
Oh, I remember not that long ago. No. Get back in your room. We're good. It was like, okay, well, I'll see you later. Just like the
was cute.
little lady and her cup of tea.
That was
like, dude,
cute.
that is freaking. Like, I don't know if I'd necessarily call that an emotion, but at the same time, all right.
That was very cute.
It was funny. It was.
And we were there.
I want that. I want her as on a T-shirt.
Right? Like the grandma character.
Like maybe holding the GoBot. That would be.
Oh my goodness! Listen to you.
Just saying.
Give it a little bit. When the movie's out on Disney Plus and a little more accessible, things will come out. But anyway, okay. So, I believe I have finished my thoughts as well as I can for today.
Okay. I can't say I finished any thoughts. I can go for a while, but no, I get your point. No,
I know you can go. I know you can.
Often, yeah. I do tend to. I can ramble if so desire.
I need a break. I need a break from talking.
Nah, you just want to talk about something else, not on the record. That's
not necessarily. No, not in this moment, but for next time, maybe.
Sure.
So.
I'm
Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Wait, hold on.
Oh no!
Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is.
Or night, or morning,
or
whatever it happens to be.
Okay, now I'm sorry.
Hey, you're good.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's fine.
There you go.
It's fine. I thought you were ready.
I am ready now.
I jumped the gun. It's on me. Anywho. Fix it.
Feel it.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
You have a great one.